Do we really have choice? Are we creatures of agency and free will, or are we creatures of genetics, our biology, and the way those two factors are interacting with the environment?
All genes are different. One will be dominant and the other recessive. The crossing of tall peas with short is a first step in seeing if this is true.
Your genetics influence every facet of your life. Your height, which is 80% heritable. Facial structure, the eye space in your jawline, cheekbones, those are mostly genetic. Skin, hair, eye color, straightforward inheritance. Baldness or hair loss, strongly genetic, especially male pattern baldness, which is linked to the X chromosome, while males only get one X chromosome and one Y chromosome, while females get two X chromosomes. Therefore, if one X chromosome has that male pattern balding gene, then the male has no backup plan. Body composition, fat distribution, muscle building potential, your metabolic system, these are all influenced by your genetics. The type of life you will lead will be inherited from your genetics, and those genetics interacting with said environment. What type of life you may have will also depend on the country you're born in and the time and place you were born into. None of these things are which you had any control. It is all determined. It is all very much determined and molds you as an individual. That individual is created through a long chain of processes and causality.
It's these special similarities that can only be explained by a pattern of continuity known as inheritance. And it's through these patterns of inheritance, through this delicate but deliberate passage of characteristics from generation to generation, that the cycles of life are assured.
We are not made from some magical fairy dust. The very foundation of life is inequality. The genes we share with our parents would have served them well in their time and place, but that doesn't mean those genes are serving us well in the time period we're living in. And unfortunately, we are basically locked into a life that we are forced to live because of our genes. I mean, there is the ultimate option of taking your own life, but I probably wouldn't recommend that. Shouldn't do that. But just so you know, none of this, the way your life is turning out or has turned out, it's not in your control at all. You were basically given a deck of cards randomly, and then those cards basically randomly decided what type of life you will lead. And I say decided because I don't really have any other word for it. I mean, because when you say decide, it's almost like there's agency there. But the genes don't really have a mind of their own. They are just basically doing what nature programmed them to do, which is to distribute themselves as far wide as possible. So yeah, there's no morality attached to what they're doing and how they've appeared in future generations and so on.
Continuous life support began at 11:50 p.m., February 5th. Heartbeat and other vital signs normal.
We are biological machines running a script that we had no say in the creation of, nor how that script will play out. Every thought we have, every desire we feel, every action we take is the inevitable result of prior conditions you did not choose. Your genetics, upbringing, and environment, culture, time and place all play a role in this. We are complete slaves to the true masters of the universe, which is cause and effect. Every life form obeys cause and effect, and we are no different. Everything is a chain. Reality stretches infinitely backward. The way you think is not even yours in the free sense. That decision you made was shaped via prior circumstances and was not truly your own decision. If you say to yourself you are a free agent in life and that you will make decisions on your own accord, then those decisions you are making or have made are the result of prior causes. There is no room for free will. Free will is a complete illusion. It only exists within the confines of our ego. In essence, our minds are just playing tricks on us.
Electric forces compete well with gravity. Turn on my charging arrangement, please. Give a charge to the balloon. Collect a like charge on my balloon. They repel. At closer approach, more. Bigger force. Now, farther away, less force. Still farther, very little force. Now give an opposite charge, and I get attraction. What is
The present that we are aware of that dissipates every second is just a continuation of the past. We have a very consciously developed mind that can peer into the past and therefore affect our behavior in the present. We work towards potential future with all the information we have acquired in our past. We feel as if we are aiming towards some open and free future, but every step toward it is made with our data points we have gathered through our past experience. Basically, our imagination of the future is just recombinations of past impressions. The you that is making the choice is a structure formed by the past. It's a monument of extraordinary volume. You know, it's really funny because modern society basically runs on this comforting fiction that anyone can make it if they try hard enough. It's a really nice sounding fairy tale, and it justifies society's rhetoric in everybody that's a failure or a success actually deserves that success and failure, and somehow they had freedom of choice to be either of those things. But in reality, it was your genetics, your personality traits, your intelligence, your looks. All of it varies between humans. And if deemed worthy from people around you, and society at large, then they will give you that slight advantage. And if you have all of those things in the good category, then you will be a successful individual inevitably. Some people in life get runners and energy drinks, while others get ankle weights tied to rocks. It's just the way it is. Even Schopenhauer himself said, "A man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills." You are free to choose according to your character, but do not think for a second that this character was created by you, and you alone.
And I don't want Lucille to be friends with someone who pretends to be something they aren't.
What am I?
I wish you wouldn't try to embarrass me this way.
I don't know what you mean. I just don't know. Really, I don't know.
We live in the midst of a giant propaganda machine that gnaws at our subconscious every second of the day. Society's myth-making about work ethic turns into a kind of trap, a trap that is lifelong for the individual. We are basically told that hard work defines your worth. If you are struggling, you just didn't try hard enough, and winners grind, losers slack. That's the common rhetoric we're told. But it's simply propaganda. It is not truth and never will be. It ignores the fact that no two people have the same path carved out for them in life, nor will they ever reach the same ends, even if they were to take similar steps to reaching those ends. The exact same efforts those two individuals partake in will lead to differing results because of social upbringing and genetics.
Your opponent had won. But that's what I mean. Everybody uses propaganda. Oh, no, not everybody, Chuck. But propaganda is an important force in our society today. That's why, besides using propaganda, I've been studying it for some years. Propaganda made a picture. Propaganda skillfully employed to turn millions of men to a cruel hatred of their fellow men. And propaganda often persuades us to help our fellow men. The products of our factories are also known around the world through propaganda in the form of advertising and salesmanship. The study of history reveals a great deal of propaganda that has been used to fight wars and win wars. Propaganda can also be used for peace. So you see, Chuck, propaganda is important. Well worth any time you give study. I see that.
But what have you done for our syndicates?
I'm publishing daily a quarter-page disbursement ad giving the winning numbers in the syndicate lottery.
Naturally, since I put you in charge of our lottery business.
I have as great an interest in all the syndicate business.
Listen, Harper, you know what your job was. To dispose of Britt Reed and to cripple his paper so that the syndicate could buy it outright.
Well, that takes time.
You've had plenty and you've failed. Now I'm warning you for the last time. Britt Reed must be disposed of before he leaves Savoy. You may go. Not that way. Use the private elevator.
Complex. Each career, each life entails thousands, maybe tens of thousands of steps. Some of them are the ones we expect. Others are quirky. If any one step is different, all the steps that occur afterwards, which depend on that step, will be subtly different, and those differences ramify step by step. The tape, if we played it again, would end up somewhere very different from where it ended up this time. And we just don't think of things that way. We see an outcome, we explain it, and then we feel like we're done.
Success is talent, effort, and luck, all of which are largely out of your control, even if it may seem like it is within arm's reach. You know, we as humans, we love feel-good stories. We want to believe the stories about people that have come from the gutter, that have worked hard and have been disciplined. Then they inevitably make it. It makes us feel as if we can install what these people, successful people, used in their lives into our own lives. The problem is that many of these success narratives fall short of how complex the nature of success in anything truly is, whether that be romantic relationships, economic success, or what have you. We as humans, we need cognitive comfort, and for some people, they need clear cause and effect. They need A to automatically go to B, or 1 + 1 = 2. These are just equations we can use to understand the world at a surface level, but deep down there is so much more complex mechanisms going on that can affect a person's chances of making it or not. He's rich because he worked hard, he put in the hours, he put in the effort, he put in the study, or he got with this girl because he had a good personality, he approached her, he took the lead, despite his physical limitations. But a story like this is basically a rare occurrence, and as I always say, an exception does not disprove the rule, because you can point to so many countless other examples where people who are not so blessed in the genetic department or below average looks have approached hundreds of women and they get nothing, and they've done everything they can to try to please a woman, and this woman will simply not be attracted to them because this dude doesn't have the genetic potential for reproduction. And let's be honest with ourselves, sexual relationships, the main currency of sexual relationships or any kind of romantic relationship is genetic. If you don't have the genetics, it's basically more or less game over. Now you can do some things to perhaps improve your chances, maybe engage a little bit of a looks maxing routine, soft maxing, maybe a skincare routine, something like that, elevator shoes for a guy. That could potentially increase your chances, but it's not going to yield the results you may think it will, that you have built up in your head, built up some dream in your head that it's, once you do this and that, A and B, once you get better clothes, you get a good skincare routine going, you go to the gym, you think, oh well, okay, these are all the things I got to do, and then boom, the women will come knocking. Doesn't work like that. This is real life, guys. This is for the majority. Sure, maybe there are minority cases you can point to where something like this has worked. Somebody has done the work on themselves and that's yielded them a romantic relationship. But again, there are hordes of other examples out there where this person has done the work. They've done everything to try to improve themselves, and it simply has yielded no results. Believing the world is also fair. We need moral justification. We need to see the world as a balanced, fair playing ground for everybody, where everyone has equal opportunities granted to them. It's simply a matter of just taking hold of those opportunities, seizing the day. Carpe diem, as they say in Dead Poets Society. But this is definitely not the case, and it doesn't take a genius to see that you can have one brain cell firing and you will be able to see that the world is definitely not an equal playing field, and not everybody has the same opportunities given to them. So yes, there are differences. There are major differences. There are aggregated differences between people in terms of their strengths and weaknesses. And we as a society kind of see strengths and weaknesses in individuals as a sort of very black and white thing, where actually no, it's multicolored, multi-layered. It's far more complex than what people let on to be. We are fed lies of meritocracy since the day we are born, basically. It's part of our culture, basically anywhere you go. We are fed lies of meritocracy since the day we are born, basically. It's part of our culture, basically anywhere you go. We are basically fed cultural myths. Myths of rags to riches. The nice guy always gets the girl. The hard worker always wins in the end. Your work ethic is what matters. No, it's simply not the case. It is not the case. It's just plain out lies, and we're just fed. And again, it's propaganda. It's what we are fed as human beings in order to keep this whole machine running, so that we can work hard for our fucking slave masters. We can break our backs at our jobs. We can go and just try opportunities endlessly. We can just go and approach the girl randomly, and it's just about how you present yourself, and she'll, she'll accept you, she'll go on a date with you. No. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Personally, I think as human beings, if we were to really accept the true nature of how much of a lie meritocracy is, and how much your genetics affect your life outcomes, then I feel like the majority of the population will probably just not necessarily give up, but they would stop caring as much. They would stop breaking their backs. They would stop investing their energy into things that are a waste of time. Because investing your energy in things that are a waste of time is what our fucking slave masters, what our governments, what our fucking managers and all that shit want us to do. It's what the fucking grifters want us to do. They want us to buy their fucking courses. They want us to buy their stupid fucking products, get their sales revenue up, so they can just keep making money off our false dreams and hopes that they fucking fed us. And then when we fail, they go, oh, well, you didn't fucking try hard enough. It's your fault. It's your problem. Okay, I think you need to buy this extended course. You got to buy the next level of this course, which is $100 more, or some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? It's especially true in regards to oversimplifying, where winners, people that have won in life, whatever that means, they've made the good money, they've got the beautiful wife, whatever it is, they will more often than not overcredit their abilities, and they think that they alone themselves caused their success. They were the only person. They themselves pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and acquired all that success by themselves. It's just extremely toxic.
The three boys, who are good friends, meet to say goodbye. Next fall, Gil Ames is going to attend an Ivy League university. Ted, who took a commercial course in high school, plans to get a white-collar job like his father's. Dave is going to work too, so that he can add to his family's income. Friends forever, they've said. Well, maybe in a way. But these boys come from families of different classes, and the lines of social class are real here in America, as they are everywhere, in Europe, in Asia, and even in the Soviet Union. As the years pass, class boundaries will separate Gil and Ted and Dave more and more. The boundaries between Ted's middle-class parents and Dave's lower-class parents are as important as those that lie between the upper and the middle classes. Even the simple event of graduation from high school has a different significance for the boys and their families.
Barren, impoverished environment, a standard colony, and an enriched environment filled with toys and social contact. Could these environments actually have an effect on the size and shape of the cortex?
The results show that the enriched rat's cortex was thicker than that of the standard colony rat. and the impoverished rat's cortex was actually thinner than that of the standard colony rat. So in essence, with enrichment, the brain grows, and with impoverishment, it decreases in size, a basic use it or lose it paradigm. We find sex differences in the animals that have been exposed to the enriched environment. In the males, we find greater changes in their visual spatial areas. In the females, we find greater changes in their general sensory cortex.
By measuring the thickness of the cortex, Dr. Diamond can judge the effects of these environments. She has two consistent findings. Experience can change the cortex at any age, and there are sex differences in how the cortex responds.
We don't have too much hesitation in extrapolating our findings from rats to humans, because rat and human brains are made up of the same basic constituents. And with time, many of the findings in rats are duplicated in humans.
Recent evidence has suggested differences in the cerebral cortex of male versus female humans. The right and left brains of males are more asymmetrical, while in females, the right and left brains are more symmetrical. There is also evidence that enrichment produces changes in human brains similar to those seen in rats.
Your genetics and environment work in conjunction with each other. You do not choose who you are. You are born with a certain body, brain chemistry, temperament, and predisposition. This goes hand in hand with the intelligence you have, your impulsivity levels, and mental health risks. The time, place, family, culture, and economy you're born into have massive influences on your perception. Early childhood experiences will shape your brain, attachment style, trust, and even trauma resilience. Your education, opportunities are all random events that will be thrown onto you in life. It's not one or the other. Genes and environment are constantly interacting with each other. Things like intelligence might be heritable, but your schooling, resources, and encouragement you had as a child and adolescent will heavily impact your intelligence levels. Even so-called choices you make are products of your biological wiring and environment. You didn't choose your genes or your environment, and even your so-called decisions are just genes and environment interacting with each other. What has happened, what will happen, were the only things that ever could have been. Thanks for watching.